here. Good morning. So I'm mad. I know this doesn't show me live on my regular page. Maybe not. Good morning. Hey. Y'all know I gotta look on my phone because we are not getting these notifications on this computer of mine for some reason. Hey, did y'all miss me? Let me know who's here because I can't see. Good morning. Hey, Stan, I just seen your message. It's showing me, I guess it's a new FB thing, and we are going to go live tonight. So, but it only shows me live in the Black Woman Meetup, so I'm fine with that. But for it definitely shows, like when I go to my main page, it shows that I am live, which is interesting, but it doesn't show the live on my actual main page, which I'm fine with because it's specifically for us in the Black Woman Meetup. So good morning. Please comment, let me know who is here. And I know there was supposed to be a recap from a couple weeks ago. I'm not going all the way back there. I am going to what I am going to talk about, because I've been getting a few questions, and I even had a conversation this morning about, you know, people who are looking to kind of like make some money like real quick, right? So I wanted to talk about that. And then I also wanted to have a quick discussion about not just the state that we are in right now, but also making sure that you guys are planning properly in your business so that you are not moving out of desperation. And yes, of course, it's going to go back into the whole target audience thing, right? Because a lot of times when you're moving out of desperation and you don't properly plan, that gets into other things, right? So it's like sometimes things don't make sense. And yes, I'm going to get into this target audience thing. There is some stuff that I'm working on. I know I mentioned with the Black label market, that is a huge opportunity. And in being on that call, one of the things that that I personally feel like is super basic is, of course, when it comes to knowing who your audience is, but literally being on that call, that's what they drill in your head, even when it comes to marketing. So I want to talk about that again today, and how important it is when it comes to your messaging, your positioning, when it comes to marketing, with knowing who that is, so that you are not posting blindly, so you're not marketing out of survival, and so that everything is aligned, right? So that you're actually building a profitable business. And when I think about us, and when I was thinking about the numbers that were being talked about in this room, and us being considered small businesses, and definitely even I feel like we're more considered, a lot of businesses that I work with are considered micro businesses, not just small businesses, based on the numbers that we were discussing in this particular room. So I want to talk a little bit about target audience. So real quick in the chat, if you can just comment and let me know. And I guess I am still sick, but I needed to go live. Like I feel like I haven't done a whole bunch of anything in these last 2 weeks, and I don't like it. So I needed to come in and talk about this. So real quick, just let me know how you feel, or how comfortable you feel about your target audience real quick. So just comment and let me know how you feel about that. And it's okay if you're not real confident, but just let me know. Say I'm confident, not confident, I need some help. That's what I am here for. That's what we are here for. And we can walk through some things together, and we're going to talk about it. Because a lot of times when we are talking about, yep, and yes, I am sitting here getting content. We can talk about the different types of, we usually talk about, when we're talking about target audience, it's usually kind of super basic, right? We're talking about the age, and that's kind of what we heard. Like, oh, my target audience is this, but we're going to go a little bit deeper with that today. So let's see. All right, there go those comments. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm sorry, it is afternoon. Hey, Tiff. Hey, Steph. Hey, Tasha. So how comfortable do you feel? Steph, I know you're pretty good with your audience. I'm confident. Hi, Mimi. Shanika, I'm confident, but I'm not sure if I should niche down. One of the things that that was something that was talked about on the call. Somebody said, should we niche down? Absolutely. I think that you should niche down. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. And this might go a little bit over the 45 minutes, but I'm okay with that today. And we're going to talk about why I personally feel like, and it was just kind of reiterated over with me being in this room talking about the Black label market, and why it's important for you to niche down, right? Because when you are trying to reach, and I know if you followed me for a long time, how I always talk about, if you are trying to market to everybody, you will literally, you're definitely going to catch some people, but it's not as impactful if you know who you are going after. So that's like saying, I know I always do that scenario about women, right? So you have 11 women, right? So even on this call, if I say there are tall women, short women, skinny women, fat women, you have tall women, there's women who wear glasses, there's women who wear contacts, there's married women, single women, there's women with kids, there's women with young kids, old kids, like there's empty nesters, there's women who, we can go on and on, right? So that's why it is so important that you know, like, and you niche down, because you need to know who these people are, and you have to have this clarity on who these people are. And it's not just about the demographics. And I think that's where that basic comes in, that basic information comes in, and how frustrating it gets for me when we're having these conversations, or when we're in these programs and they just cover the demographics, and you know that you need more, or when I know that you're going to need more when you're having these conversations, and then that's as far as it goes, right? So let's just say I'm gonna call on somebody that's confident. Laura, who is your audience? Can you take a few seconds and comment who your audience is in the chat? And if anybody else wants to do it, feel free to go ahead and type that in the chat as well. If you know who your audience is, please feel free to go in and do that in the chat as well. Because again, a lot of times we stick to who the demographic is, so that the demographics, and there's literally 3 layers of your audience, right? So it's the demographic, which is your age, your income, the location, and usually the family structure, right? So that's somebody who is, you hear people say, my demographic, my target audience is women age 30 to 50, and they may live in Pittsburgh, PA, and they're married or something. And that is so general, right? But that is the demographic. But what else about them? What else about them? Okay, people, so Tasha put people who are looking to retire within the next 3 years. Okay, so then you have the psychographics. What else? This is that second layer. Okay, what are their psychographics? What are their beliefs, their values, their pain points? What are their aspirations? That's that next layer. Right? So not just people who are looking to retire. So you have that part of it, Tasha. So then you have to add the demographic to that, right? And this is how you slowly niche down who it is. And again, and I talked about this before, like how your audience can also be, it can be specific to certain things. Like I know there are, we have a client who deals just specifically with like cancer patients, but you can even narrow that down. Cancer patients who have a certain type of cancer, cancer patients who may lose their hair, may not lose their hair, like, so literally when you niche down, like I think that people get scared that them niching down, like that they're losing money by doing that, and they're not. That actually makes you more unique, right? That makes it easier for your positioning when you do that. Kia put people looking to upgrade their mobile bar experience, mainly middle upper class people. Okay, and I want you to go a little deeper to that. What are their buying habits? Their like when it comes to social media, because this is something that's huge too. One of the questions that somebody asked me was about there's like, where can they market, or how can they market? I don't know. Like if you come to me and you tell me that this is what your business is, I have to know more just about your business than what it is in order to know where to tell you what platform you should be on, because there is more than just Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, right? Because TikTok just came around. There's more than, you have YouTube, you have Pinterest. There's I think there's about 50 different social media platforms that are out there. We just are comfortable with those main 3. Deanna put, hold on, let me go back up. Laura put, I have a range of women from 60 to all over the United States. They seem to believe in Jesus, looking for prayer, encouragement on the daily. Okay, but so then for you, so you have a belief there. What are their buying habits? what are the, their values, what pain points do they have? So those are the questions that you would ask in order to narrow things down some, so that when you are positioning, so when you're positioning yourself in front of them for marketing, so that you can expand, so that your messaging makes sense, that in order to get them to buy, in order to get them to spend more money, that they're actually pulling that trigger, right? Deanna said working mothers age 35 needing to reconnect with their purpose. What purpose? I'm not sure that social media is where my target market is. It might not be. It might not be. And the more that you dig, you might find that social media is not where your people are. Or you might find that social media is, or it might be a different platform. Right? So people tend to think that social media is the end all and be all, or that or people think that. So a lot of something that somebody said the other day was that she felt like social media was only Facebook, and I said, wow, that was interesting, right? So no, and there's so many other ways to market, right? You have direct mail. You have networking events, like there's regular mail, there's email, right? There's so many different ways that you can market, but you have to know what that's why it's so important, like knowing that age, because that age and knowing what their beliefs are, because there's some people out there who don't believe in social media. There's some people out there who don't believe in email. So you have to know these things about your people in order to be able to attract them, in order to be able to market to them. And like I said, there's 3 different layers to it, and we normally only see people going after one of those layers. So I want you guys to take the time to tackle all 3 of those. And tonight at 7, and it's going to be free. Tonight at 7, there is a link in the resources. There's a pinned comment that keeps popping up. If you want to tonight, if you want to dig a little deeper at 7 o'clock, it should be. I'm sorry, it's Central Standard Time, so it'll be 8 o'clock you guys' time. If you want to join, there is a link in that pinned comment. If you want to go a little bit deeper on your on who your audience is, and we can walk through that. But definitely, I do believe that this is something that I feel like a lot of small business owners miss that mark. When we were having this conversation about marketing, so many people they couldn't even pitch. We're not even talking about positioning statements, right? Because anybody that's worked with me know that that's what we do. We do our positioning statements. They could not, we couldn't even get into positioning statements because they couldn't even pitch, because they didn't know who their audience was, right? So we need to know these things first before you can get into that. So like, how many of you guys have ever taken the time to do an avatar? A live avatar. And I know you guys have probably done it. A lot of us have done kind of like a basic one, right? That same one that has all the demographics, tells you about who they are as a person. I know if you downloaded the free one that I have, the free one that I have on the website, that's kind of, it's not basic, but it has it asks you a little bit more, like I always talk about, like if they're married and things like that. But what about these questions about what are those, you don't know what that is, Kia? You don't know what a customer avatar is, or a client avatar? That's literally like naming who your ideal customer is, right? And not just in knowing who they are, and you can have a few different ones, but I like to know who the person is so deeply that I know what's keeping them up at night. I know what makes them want to buy. I know what makes them, how long it takes them to buy, how much time they spend on certain things. Where does she spend the most of her time? Is she a homebody? Does she spend time at the coffee shop? These are the things that you want to know. That's how deep you want to know about your customer, right? We don't take the time to know these things. If you take the time and it, my client avatar is about 3 pages, right? If you really want to get to the nitty gritty about who your client avatar is, and there's nothing wrong with having a few, but to know who your client avatar is, you can't just have a one page. I can't, right? If you're talking about knowing this person psychologically, how can you do that on one piece of paper? Is she married? Was she married? Did she get a divorce? Why did she get a divorce? Is she, did she have is she a CEO? Is she a stress CEO? Like there's so many different narratives there, that you want to keep, and you want to continue to ask these questions so that you can get to your answer on why she would buy from you, and why it would make sense for her to buy from you, or them to buy from you, or him to buy from you, whatever that person is to buy from you. Right? What makes her tick? So you don't want it to be so blanket that you still have questions at the end of that, right? You want to dig really, really deep. Okay, anybody have any questions so far? I know that was a lot. All right, so I want to go back to why it. Let me go back up a little bit because I'm looking at my notes. Because I mentioned hey, Diamond Baby. And why it's so, once you get to knowing all 3 of those, and why it's so important to know them all, it not only helps you in the space of marketing and positioning when it comes to your price, because this is something else that we talked about, was pricing and positioning your pricing, right? People tend, you ever see something, you ever be in a store, you ever see something posted and you say, why is that only $17? Or I'm not like, and I'm one of those people, I'll see something and I'm like, I'm not buying that just because why is that only $17? So for me, somebody like me, when I see something at $17, I personally think that there's something wrong with that. Right? So if I am somebody's client avatar, when I see something at $17, I look at it as it not having much of value. Whereas somebody who is more budget savvy, they might see that as a deal. So that's why you want to know the difference in that, in who your avatar is. So I think differently than somebody who is more budget savvy, right? Somebody just texted me, I'm sorry. But then also, how often, like when it comes to them being budget savvy, like how often, if they're not budget savvy, how often do they actually buy? Do they have the disposable income? And how often do they buy what you're selling? Because how many of you guys have something? Is it one of those things that's an impulse buy? Is it something that they got to think about? Is it something this person would think about? These are those questions that you need to ask when you are building out, whether it's your offer, your product, whatever it is that you need to ask yourself and think about with your client avatar. When it comes to your content, right? This is why it's important to know what type of content do they like. Because here's the thing, video is it right now on social media. However, do your people enjoy video? Do they like quotes? Do they like to read? Are they visual? You need to know what your people enjoy so that you can attract the right people. If you are not attracting the right people, then that could be why you're not getting the sales and stuff that you want. Right? But you don't know that if you're not doing the right, if you're not doing the right thing by who you're trying to attract. So again, knowing this, and again, I think the thing that had me wanting to come in and talk about this was because even at the level of people that were on this call and the amount of money that was in a room, there were so many people that still did not know how to position themselves properly because they did not know their audience, even in that space. And I mean, they were making some serious money, and they still were not. They were not sure. They were still like, oh, I'm just kind of just trying to figure it out as I go. They could not confidently say who their audience was, and they were just trying to make it work. And I will say that a lot of them came from money already, so they had an advantage. There's an advantage there that we don't have. So we got to work a little bit harder at knowing who these people are and going after them and making sure that our content and stuff sticks. Then there's another part. Does your person, knowing who your audience is are they somebody who's going to need to see your stuff a few times before they pull the trigger? This goes back to at the beginning when I talked about the planning part. Because a lot of times people will post something, and when they post something, you just kind of post and you let it go, right? You don't come back and say nothing again, or you might wait a week and not post it again. But this goes back again to, is this person on social media all the time? Because if they're not on social media all the time and you're only posting your content once a week, they're probably missing it. So you're missing the opportunity to get to them, especially if there's somebody who's not all the time, not on social media all the time, and they also need multiple touch points with that content. Right? So it's very important to know these things about your people in order for it all to make sense. Again, like then I say this because it seems like it's, I don't want to sound repetitive because I always talk about, it always goes back to target audience for me, but I feel like that this is something I really want to drive in to you guys because it's so important, whether it's marketing. I was working on some ads a few weeks ago with a client, and she was supposed to do she was doing her homework with her target audience, and we were working through some of this stuff, and she stopped. So when it came time to do her ads, we actually had to stop, because when it's time for you to do ads, it doesn't matter how much money you put into your ads, you got to know this stuff or your ads won't work. You have to know this stuff or your marketing is not going to work. Right? So I promise, if you do this part of, if you take your time to do these things of this part of the business, that you'll be 10 steps ahead of everybody else. Okay. Deanna said, what do you need to get better with, Deanna? And Kia said, great point. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to overpost. I never thought about the client's time that they may. Absolutely. And then here's the thing, and also thinking about when they are on. So like, I know there are a few people on here that have gotten some of my strategies. And if you notice that sometimes, like when I tell you guys, or when I put the times on there for you to put, for when you to post, it's based off of your target audience, not you. Okay, yeah, showing up more. Yeah, so when I'm telling you the time that I'm telling you to post is based on your target audience, not on you. So if your target audience is people who work 9 to 5, I am not going to tell you to post while they are at work. I'm not going to tell you to post when they first get home from work because most times they are not scrolling at that time, right? So you need to catch them when they're on a bus, or things like that. And then you have to watch these analytics. There are so many moving parts when it comes to this. And it all has to be like a well-oiled machine. But you still have to have these foundations in place. I tend to post once or twice. And then here's the thing, and then with posting once or twice, what if there's somebody who needs to see it more than once or twice? What if there's somebody who when it comes to making a decision, they're like, I know sometimes if I see something once or twice, I might forget about it. And I'm like, okay, if I see it a third time, and I think now somebody has to see something. I think the point of contact, it used to be like 7 or 8 times, and now it's like 13. So if you're only posting something once or twice, they're really not seeing it. This is the amazing why I know who I want to serve. Articulating it is my issue. Articulating it is your issue, maybe because you're not digging deep enough on who your client is and what their needs are. So go back to their behavior, the behavior part of the target audience. And that's the thing too. Their behaviors, and then the psychographics with that is in their pain points. Those pain points are so triggering that I know for me at night, those nighttime commercials are wild. I feel like they literally trigger you like they know that we're up at night, right? They know that we're up at night, and that is a trigger in itself. And I will literally buy just because I'm up at night. But that's one of those psycho things, right? That's those psychological things that they already know. So again, they have people already that know these things about us. That's the same thing that you guys have to do. You have to know these things about your people before you go to, and then you have to have some type of a plan going into these spaces when it comes to people. A lot of times, and had this conversation today, you have to have some type of strategy in everything that you do. In everything that you do. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to posting, when it comes to whatever it is, you have to have some type of. There's a series that I do once a month, and it's like if I were you series. That is just because if I were you, this is what I would do. I think the next one is like if I were you and you wanted to position yourself quickly, this is what I would. These are the few things that I would do. Right. I don't want you to be moving out of desperation. However, if this is the position that you're in, these are the 3 or 4 things that I would do. But I feel like you should always be in a space where you should have some type of strategy. And I feel like your audience, there should be some type of strategy in your audience as well. You can't have, in business, you cannot make any type of movement, whether it's marketing, whether it's social media, anything without any type of strategy, because it'll always seem like you're always grasping at something. I use constant contact, but not like I should, because it's a great tool for my people, not on social media. Yep. And once you get, and even when the people that are not on social media, so like you have to have a plan for people that are not on social media. So if you have people that are not, so if you're one of those people who have or you have a business and your people are not on social media, you still have to have some type of CRM or somewhere to house those people who are not on social media. And you have to have a way to contact them and to be in connection with them all the time as well. But there has to be some type of strategy to do that. Same thing. You have to have, like how you have a marketing plan, you should have a plan for your target audience as well. And again, it doesn't mean And I always say this, well, just because you have a target audience or you have a client avatar does not mean that you are not going to attract other people. It means this is who we're focused on. This is how we are going to plan. This is our base. Right? I think people get scared when you tell them to niche down. Everybody that I've been, I hear it so often, and I don't want to work with anybody who wants to work with everybody. It's confusing. And the devil likes confusion. I don't. Let's see. I tend to post in the morning during business hours. Yep, and I see people posting in the middle of the night, and I'm like, who's seeing that or sleep? I tend to post in the morning during business. I need to go back to the strategy designer where I missed some things. I know, and I am my client. I need repetition. Hey, Alika. Yes, absolutely. And I think that I feel like, well, and I keep saying I feel like, I apologize for that. That's me being not feeling the best, but wanting to come and have this conversation with you guys because I really want you to think about that part of it. And it's not about going back to the basics. It's about knowing and building that foundation and having that so that you have something to build off of all the time, right? So as long as you know that, it'll be so easy for you to do everything else. It'll be so easy. So if I post it when that series goes out and I say, if you want to make some money or like say if you want to make some money real quick, if I were you, this is what I would do. And you already know who your audience is, I could give you 5 steps and tell you what to do. And because you already know your audience, you could do it and make the money because your framework is already done for your audience. Right? But if you don't have that, it's not going to work. So that's why I want you guys to know this part first. And again, like this is one of those things that I feel like I had somebody having these conversations with me early on, I would not have to start over with a lot of the things that I had to start over with and learn myself, and then come back and redo this stuff all over again. Okay. And then once you get all of that, get those things together with your target audience, then that's when your position and all of those things that'll start to make sense. And then you'll be able to start posting with intention. Your content that you start posting will start to make sense. It'll start connecting with the right people. And I do want to mention this too, because I had a conversation with one of the facilitators, and we were talking about AI. And one of the guys had said on the call that it seems like what he was posting with AI was not matching, or no, it wasn't that he was not getting what he wanted from, like AI wasn't kicking back what he wanted. And I said, and my response was, AI is only as good as the person behind it, and it's only as good as the information that you're putting in it. So if you're putting in bad information, it's going to kick out bad information. So if you're putting in the wrong audience, or if you're putting in what you feel like, or if you're putting in this is who your audience is, and it's not that, when it creates that content for you, it's creating the wrong content, so you're not going to attract the right people. Right? And I think that that's where people are getting, that people are thinking AI is a tool. AI cannot replace you for who you are. It can't replace that information that you, yes, it can't, but there's a lot of information. AI is an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool, but that creativity, that information that you have in you, that is what I feel like is that missing piece, that humanized piece that needs to be, is what is missing, that needs to be put in there. That correct information needs to be put in there so that you guys are utilizing that right, is what is is what is missing. And when he said that, I was like, that's what that's what he was missing and why he was getting the wrong information. So he kind of messed up his algorithm with that. He was not getting any sales, and he was not attracting who he needed to attract because he was putting the wrong keywords in there, and it was just like, it ended up being a mess. So he was not connecting the right way. Okay, hold on 1 second, Tiff. So I'm not a business, but I want to ask for donations for my upcoming events that I do. I want to post outside of my group and X as well. Outside of my group, they only require events that I've done. I would like them to fully be sponsored so I don't have to come out of my pocket. I can't always use my space because I'm not sure, Laura. So what are you asking, Laura? I'm not sure what you're asking, Laura. Are you asking how to do that? Okay, Tiff, I clicked on a pin post to join tonight's call at 8, but I didn't see. What didn't you see? So there is a link to join if you want to go deeper in your target audience tonight. Let me see. I don't know why. Hold on 1 second. And then I do want to mention, even when it comes to the growth real quick. Because also that when it comes to growing with your content, if you can put in, when it comes to knowing who the right audience is and putting the right information in, and of course, making sure the right content connects, that's when you'll start getting the right people following you. You ever be like, well, why is this person following me? That doesn't make sense. It's because it's not connecting right? There's a lot of clients. We get people who come over and they're like, this person bought this, and they always say like it didn't make sense, and I'm like, let's talk about it, so we go through everything, and then or they return something and it like things just didn't make sense, and we go through their content, and a lot of times it's because it was something that it just didn't click, like something that they posted, something that they said, it didn't resonate, and it was because of the content or something that they positioned incorrectly. There was a girl she was doing ebooks, in the way that she positioned it, somebody wanted a refund. And she wanted a refund because of how she positioned it, how she worded it. The keywords were wrong. So the girl almost felt like it wasn't a scam, but that was how it was positioned. So again, you want to be careful with with the wording and stuff that you use in these things, because people in that perception is something else. So that's why you want to know how your audience thinks as well. I promise you guys, it's huge when it comes to knowing who your people are and how they think about different things. And then also it makes it easier for you to show up in spaces where your people are already at. Where is my video? Oh, there we go. It makes it easier for you. There we go. I don't know why that link is not showing up. Let me try this one right here. It makes it easier for you to show up in spaces on social media. This is for social media, Tiff. It makes it easier for you to show up in front of the audience when you're using the right keywords and things. I don't know why this is not letting me post on here. I don't know. Let me go over here. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm trying to post this link real quick so that y'all could join tonight. I just posted the link so that y'all could join. All right, there we go. All right, so it matters for you to know who all three of your the three layers of your target audience, so that you can position your content, and so that you can position your content right, so that you can price your services or your products correctly, so that you can create content that connects, so that you can attract the right audience, so that you can show up properly and show up in front of the right people, show up in spaces, in the right spaces on social media. I know that somehow I ended up on the wrong side of TikTok too, because I used the wrong hashtag. You don't want to do that either. And also attracting people that are actually ready to buy what you are selling. And that also comes, and I do want, and tonight we're going to talk some about hashtags and stuff as well. Oh, and that should not, it's not $49. I don't know why that says that, but it's not $49. It's free. So ignore that, that preview. It's not $40. There we go. I'm going to remove that. But attracting people who are actually ready. The more that you do that, the more that you know who your actual people are, and you start positioning yourself. And this is for product-based businesses and service-based businesses. The more that you do that, I promise you, you will start getting people that are going to just show up. They are going to show up ready. They are not going to question anything, and they are going to buy what you are selling. Okay, you said you need to know. I need to know how to go about asking for donations for my events that I did, so they can't write it off. Hey, Raquel. Excuse me. One of the things that you could do is see if you could partner with a 501c. You can see if you can partner with one and see if they can write it off that way. Or do you want donations, or so here, what I will say, Laura, is go back to when it comes to the audience, right? When it comes back to who your target audience is, go back to what are their behaviors. Right, so because it almost feels like this is more about the psychographics, like what is, when it comes to your events, it's more, I think you need to dig a little deeper on, because this is more values and beliefs. So it's more psychographics than behavioral. It could be a little bit of both. So it might not necessarily, maybe not do it as a donation, and just do it as them, just maybe change that wording, because sometimes even with when it comes to your target audience, you do not have to, you could change the words up. Maybe not use the word donation. Maybe use gift of love or something like that. Use another word. Maybe you just use the word something that, where they don't feel like they, it has to be something where they feel like they are something that they have to write off. Would be my thought. What's up, Raquel? What you got going on today? Okay. What time is it? All right. We have about 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes left. Actually, I'm done because we're in Q&A right now. Do we have any questions before I jump off of here? I did post the link to tonight if anybody wants to join. Again, just to recap, I don't want you, I touched base on target audience, the 3 layers of target audience, because we did receive, and I do apologize again because yes, I am still sick, and I did not come in last week and do the lunch break, but there was some confusion when it came to the content, and I wanted to reiterate the target audience and making sure that there is some clarity on that before you go in and begin doing your content. And that needs to make sense first. We absolutely get messages and questions about, making money faster and all of that good stuff. And while we would absolutely love to help you do that, we would love for you to know these things first to make it easier. And again, there are some resources that are linked. That are linked to help you with that, so that so that we could because we want you all we want you all to win. Oh goodness, this is why I won't be having my phone on. So because we do want you all to win, but it also needs to it needs to make sense, right? And in order for it to make sense, in order for you to grow properly, like, we want you to build a proper foundation first. And that's what's starting this. And I promise you, it's not that hard to do this part, which is the 3 layers of the target audience and having some type of clarity, which is the demographic, the psychographics, and the behavioral, which is how they move. The psychographics is what is going on in the inside. And tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are actually going to dig a little deeper. And if you need any type of help, want any advice, I will be helping you guys with that tonight for about an hour. For about an hour and a half or so, I'm willing to go live to help you guys get through that and narrow some things down for you, or if you have any questions or anything to unpack who your audience is, because again, like that, it's definitely something that you need moving forward. Again, like I mentioned earlier, with who is that? The wrong people be trying to join this group when it comes to marketing, content creation, anything like that. You want to have this. So if you would love to join, please click that link and make sure you come ready to work. Come with your pen, your pad, your iPad, your laptop, whatever, and let's do that tonight. Any questions before we jump off? Tasha, I expect to see you tonight. Laura, make sure you join tonight. Hey, Tamika. Oh, and there's a visibility session next week too. I don't think I have that on here. Yeah, you're late to the party, Raquel. There's a visibility next week. I think that's on Tuesday night too. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm definitely, if you're still on here, I'm definitely trying to go over to StreamYard. I don't like StreamYard because it doesn't link to nothing. It doesn't link to none of my business stuff. But there is It's at 8 p.m. Ask me why it's at 8 p.m. Oh, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it's Zoom because y'all know I'm not doing this Facebook stuff be. It's at 8 p.m. and it'll be easier for me to go over the target audience and we can break it down more and we can talk a little bit more in depth. But I definitely think that we need to talk deeper and make it easier for you to have a no, I haven't tried Riverside. Nothing. I tried the link and it's asking me to select the time. Select any time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time you select. I just want you guys to select the time because it's only it's going to tell you 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what time you select. Just make sure you select the time so you can get the Zoom link. It doesn't matter what time you select. Just select whatever time, and then we'll just go over. We'll walk through some questions for the target audience thing on there. The link is asking. That's fine. It doesn't matter as long as you get the Zoom link, Kaylisha. As long as just make sure. I'm just hoping it doesn't ask you guys. It's not asking you guys to pay for nothing. Make sure it's not asking y'all to pay for nothing because that should be free. It said it was doing a group session. You're welcome. Yeah. And then I want to say this too real quick. One of the calls that I was on, I feel like I had to laugh because one of the guys that was on there, and he didn't give half of the information that he probably didn't give 25% of the information that I give on these calls, on these lunch breaks. And he said that he gets paid $1,000 for an hour. So I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to think about how much money y'all leaving on the table. It does what? What is it doing to? Hold on. I just deleted it. Hold on. All right, try it now. I don't know why. No, I don't know why it's not working. Give me a second. Hold on. I don't know why it's not working because I just updated it. I don't know why it's not showing me that. It should say it might say invest, but there's no payment there. Y'all making my thing go crazy. Hold on 1 second. Chill out. Hold on. Copy link. Hold on. Choose a new time. Select. next time. Please complete. Y'all might have to refresh. You might have to refresh because it's gone. It's gone. I don't know why it says 60 minutes though. Y'all do it. I hate these. It worked for you? Oh, that's why. Because all right, y'all, it worked. It should work. I will see you guys tonight. Yep, there go the Zoom link. But wait, is it going to give y'all all an individual Zoom link? Oh, wait, y'all. Wait. Because it's probably going to give y'all all individual Zoom link. I don't want it to give y'all all an individual Zoom link. I'm going to just post the Zoom link. I'll just post the Zoom link. I'll figure it out. It's not doing the group thing, so I got to figure that out. Because for some reason it's not. It's going to give y'all each individual. It's going to give y'all each an individual group thing, and it's not going to let me do that. So I'll send out a group link and let you know. Raquel, I'm gonna delete your thing, and I'll send it out once I figure that out. Why it's not doing a group? Why I didn't do the group thing? But all right, I will see y'all next week. I'll see some of y'all tonight, and I'll see the rest of y'all next week. And thank you guys for watching. I'll post the link in a second in the group.